Hey, welcome to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. I'm joined today by, he's kind of my bestie at this point, Matthew Marsden, Blaze TV contributor and actor and producer extraordinaire. So, Matt, you have been involved in some major Twitter drama.
Oh, I have, yeah. Major drama today, yeah.
This is wild. I do want to get into what the Sleepy Joe's Biden White House is doing, but I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up. Okay. So Matt Marsden here responded to Elon Musk's post, which, by the way, Elon Musk keeps responding to Matt Marsden's tweets, and it's really driving me nuts because I feel like I'm the only one of my friends who hasn't had Elon Musk. Oh, okay, fine. Sip your tea. Your water.
These are the victory tears.
So I'm like the only one of my friends who's never had Elon Musk respond to one of my tweets. Hello, Elon. But so he was responding to a tweet from Elon talking about the low birth rates and how, of course, eventually that's going to lead to a society collapse. And Matt's over here like, I have 9 kids. I'm doing my part. And he was just attacked by all of these feminists who are like, oh, you had the kids? Why don't you ask your wife about that? He said, I have 9 kids. He has they're his kids still. He didn't say he birthed them. He just said, I have 9 kids. And they were just like, down your freaking throat.
Oh, it was,
crazy.
I was just stunned. I mean, like when I came out against the you-know-what that will not be named because of the YouTube thing, I got a lot of crap for that, right? Like, no, you're not a doctor.
Yeah.
You're not a doctor. What do you think that? And you're like, okay, well, all right, yeah. I didn't realize I wasn't a doctor, but I have played one in a movie once.
That counts.
It does count. It does count. But this lot, they were insane. Like, I don't even want to say what they said because it's so disgusting. It's so disgusting. I was just really shocked. And the funny thing
basically, like, your wife is the only one with rights to
yeah.
the children, with rights to saying that she has children. You don't have those. You can't claim
I have
they're yours.
absolutely no contribution to their lives in any way, shape. Well, apart from
There was this one contribution that he had one night that led to the child, is what their point was.
Yeah.
Which is so
It's
crazy.
wacky. But it shows you the way they think, because these are the same people that are the pro-aborts. They're the ones that are getting sterilized because of Trump. Like, okay. But the truth of the matter is I still win anyway, because I still have the 9 kids. And they are my kids! Darn it!
Well, also, I think that it's very transphobic of them to say that men can't have children.
I was going to say, I was like, how do you know that I didn't have them?
Exactly.
I mean, maybe it's because of my svelte figure and I bounced back so well from all those pregnancies.
It's like, this is the party that says that men can have babies and men can have periods and all that.
But here's the thing, Seth, it was such an emotional, visceral reaction.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That I was sitting there and I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, I saw one of them too. I mean, let's also not forget that they are just incredibly retarded people.
Oh, yeah,
So
super stupid.
I saw one of them who was like, "Oh, well, enjoy your time in the nursing home," and it's like, no, he has 9 kids. He's not gonna. You're gonna go to a nursing home because your cats can't take care of you. Your cat, they are going to go live with someone else, I don't know, maybe available up for adoption, and you're going to be wheeled into the nursing home because you have chosen a lifetime to just live in complete contrast to what God has designed for you. That's what's going to happen. So really crazy. If you guys are not following Matt on Twitter, you should, but make sure go check that out, if nothing else, for the amusement of it. I'm sure it's not amusing for you. It's infuriating, but reading those, just how dumb, how stupid the comments are.
No, it's actually really concerning about how stupid and how triggered they are. Yeah. Like, you know, we said this after the election, that it kind of went quiet a little bit, didn't it? It was kind of like, you know, when it's like Twister, you know, when it's like everything goes quiet, you look around, you're like, I'm in the middle of the storm, and then it's just like, yeah. So they are just taking a breather. They're getting over their narcissism, right? Because they're like,
they'll never get narcissism.
They can't, but they're coming back.
Yeah. So go check that out. I will just say, if society doesn't collapse because of the low birth rates, if we can just get through that, we will have like the most epic country of just little conservative babies. Because we're the only ones that are having babies. True. So if we can just get past that hump, and it is a hump, okay? I'm not going to lie. Like, that would be a problem, okay? But if we can just get past that hump, we're going to have it really will be MAGA country at that point. So let's talk about this latest report here that the Biden White House is considering preemptive pardons. For a handful of people, okay? This was an ABC News report. Biden considering preemptive pardons for officials Trump might target. Now, possible names include Liz Cheney, Adam Schiff, and Dr. Fauci. And I just would like to point out that these are all people who are like gods to the left. I mean, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the highest paid federal employee back in the COVID days, he is the science. From him, by the way, right? He is the science. You have Liz Cheney, who we are told, since she supported Kamala Harris, she is a true patriot. How many times did you hear that? I mean, these are people with glowing reviews. Adam Schiff, pencil neck. These are people with glowing reviews from the Democrats. And so I have to ask, what in the world could they need a pardon for? You guys have told us that they are all on the up and up. They're perfect, exemplary model citizens. Why in the world would these people need a pardon, Matt?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I understand, like, Hunter Biden actually is being prosecuted, is in the court, it's gonna happen, right? But there's nothing going after Liz Cheney or any of the other people. So what do they know?
Right. What have they ever done that someone might uncover? I mean, I love this because they're like, Donald Trump might target them. No, just like with his first term, Donald Trump might get in there and start digging around and go, oh, you know what? I'm going to make a phone call to the new president of Ukraine and ask him about corruption that's been going on. It's funny when you think back on how far we've gotten with that now. But so it's like, no, he's not targeting them. He's, of course, uncovering the truth. So you look at, let's take Anthony Fauci, okay? Anthony Fauci, who has, I mean, I've accused him of plenty of crimes, and I believe he's guilty of all of them. But no one in the legal system has been accusing him of any sort of crime. And I do just want to remind you guys what Anthony Fauci said in front of the Select House Committee. Watch.
The second issue is a false accusation that I tried to cover up the possibility that the virus originated from a lab. In fact, the truth is exactly the opposite.
Oh, really? Interesting. Okay, well, let's hear the latest on that.
We're not backed by science. Katie Pavlich, Fox News contributor and townhall.com editor, with us now. The report covers many things. But the overarching conclusion is the following. A lab-related incident involving gain-of-function research is most likely the origin of COVID-19.
Whoopsies.
Current government mechanisms for overseeing this dangerous gain-of-function research are incomplete, severely convoluted, and lack global applicability. Is this the final word?
This will not be the final word given the extent of this. This is a 500-page report. There have been a number of hearings, 30 different hearings and meetings on this. The report is 500 pages long, and there's a lot of lack of accountability for the people who allowed this to happen. There's been a lack of accountability.
That's enough. I don't need Katie Pavlich's opinion on that. So Fauci's actions, let's talk about what he did, okay? He's the one who recommended that the country shut down. He's the one that recommended mandates. He's the one that helped recommend the 6 foot. He and Deborah Birx were the ones who recommended that the states completely abuse their power, that they shut down your churches, that they shut down your work, that they shut down your children's schools, okay? He also provably violated federal policies on gain of function and enhanced potential pandemic pathogen research. Conspiracy to defraud. How about perjury? And of course, when you look at that report, that 500-page report that was just referenced, you look at the report and it very clearly explains something that we have been saying since day freaking one, which is, of course, this was an accidental escape from the Wuhan Institute of Virology at ground zero where it started. So he's the one who was responsible for funding the research that was going on there that led to this outbreak. I would say he's got millions of people's of blood on his hands. And perhaps that is why Joe Biden wants to just go ahead and get that pardon out of the way.
Well, there's a couple of things there. I mean, it is funny, isn't it? Where it's like, where did the virus come from?
Bat soup.
When it's the Wuhan Institute of Virology in Wuhan. I mean, that was probably the greatest thing that Jon Stewart ever did. You know, when you saw that with Stephen Colbert, he didn't know what to do. You know, oh, maybe a pangolin had, it kissed it, whatever it was. It was brilliant. But there's one person in that administration now that knows all about this. And that's RFK Jr. And he knows all about it because I sat there and heard him go through categorically what had happened. And our friend, obviously, Andy Wakefield, knows all about it as well. So they know. And here's the second thing is there's something very, very interesting going on here. And I think that it actually gives Trump, because one of the things that we've been very critical of Trump is because, you know, we aren't religious zealots for government, right? We don't think that Trump is a god, even though they keep saying it to us because it's projection, because that's what they do. Right. They make their politicians gods, right? So you have Donald Trump, and we've been critical of him and Operation Warp Speed, right? Extremely. Well, what does this say? This says, I think that Fauci lied or misled him.
100%.
Okay, because why is it you've got Liz Cheney, who I don't even want to talk about that despicable human being.
We're going to. Go ahead, I'll let you finish.
All right, then. You got Liz Cheney, you've got, Bobblehead. We need to get an orange. Oh, look at the size of that boy's head. It's like an orange on a toothpick. Adam Schiff's got his own weather systems. Sputnik. Hey, head, move. So anyway.
Shut up.
Okay. No, but the point is that these people, obviously, that Adam Schiff, why they're going to go after Adam Schiff, Tucker Carlson, how Tucker Carlson took him apart when he was at Fox was glorious, right? So they're worried about all these things. Why? Because they know They know that something's going on. And lastly, I'm going to say this. The difference between us and them, although there are many things that are different between us and them, is that we do not agree with lawfare.
Right.
Right? We don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want, as much as I want bad people to be held accountable for what they believe, what they've done, the evils that they've done. I don't want to target them because I disagree with them. That is not the way they operate.
No, I want to target them because they committed crimes.
Because they committed crimes.
I want the justice system to work correctly.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's very, very different.
Right.
So when they say Trump is targeting, you just have to replace that with the DOJ is going to do an investigation. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they know that they've done something wrong and none of us know about it means that they know.
Right. Right.
There's evidence.
Of course there is. Of course there is. And there was evidence. I mean, we've already seen Fauci's emails back and forth where he very clearly is trying to cover his tracks on making sure that the general public does not find out that it leaked from a lab. I mean, I remember years ago, we were sitting across over there on my old set and we went through the emails where it was him and his little cohorts and they would get just so far and then they'd be like, I think we should jump on the phone for this one. I mean, it's very clear what they were doing the entire time. So, of course, Fauci committed crimes. Of course, Joe Biden wants to pardon him. I really hope that one doesn't happen, though, because one of my greatest dreams is to see Anthony Fauci sentenced. But that's neither here nor there. So let's get into Liz Cheney. What did Liz Cheney do? Well, Liz Cheney was, of course, if you listen to the left, she was a terrible person and her father was a terrible person until she wasn't. Because then she decided to support Kamala Harris. She was the vice chair of the J6 Select Committee, remember? Okay. And on this select committee, the amount of deception and editing out important details of, videos this was supposed to be an impartial investigation into January 6th and Donald Trump's part in it. And all that it was just the biggest BS, they use the term misinformation all the time. This was it, right? Talk about projection. This was it. They are the ones who are constantly giving out misinformation. And so this was no different. They had here's just one example of that, okay? All of these crazy, claims about Donald Trump and the Secret Service and the driver with former White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson. Here's some of that.
He thought that they were going up to the Capitol, and when Bobby had relayed to him, we're not. You don't have the assets to do it. It's not secure. We're going back to the West Wing. The president had a very angry response to that. Tony described him as being irate. The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president. Take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing." The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel."
Oh, no.
"We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol."
Uh-oh.
Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel.
She's not good.
When Mr. Renato had recounted this story to me,
she's thinking too hard about it.
Again, 3 out of 10 in the Meisner method right there.
You would know.
Yeah, I'm like not impressed.
Not impressed. Well, it turns out everything she said was a lie. Here's this headline. Driver says Trump didn't lunge for wheel on January 6th in newly released testimony because the J6 committee tried to withhold that information that, of course, conflicted with one of their star witnesses. And Liz Cheney there during this interview, vice chair of the J6 Select Committee, and personally participated in the interview of the Secret Service driver and was aware of his statements contradicting Hutchinson. She just, oopsies, left it out of the report.
Wow.
Oops, left it out of the report.
Wow.
So it's like, and that's just that's just a crumb. That's just a breadcrumb of all of the ways that Liz Cheney, as the leader of this entire sham, wasted taxpayer money, wasted resources, wasted time trying to concoct this big dog and pony show, this circus, all against Donald Trump because he broke her. So let's get to Adam Schiff really quickly before we have to go to break. Adam Schiff, of course, he was part of the J6 committee as well. And of course, he, as a member of Congress and a Democrat, I'm sure has committed many crimes. But I just want to remind everyone that for years, probably still now today, for years, Adam Schiff told us that he personally saw evidence that Donald Trump was colluding with Vladimir Putin. Here's one of that.
There is significant evidence, much of it in the public domain, on the issue of collusion.
You have seen direct evidence of collusion.
I don't want to go into specifics, but I will say that there is evidence that is not circumstantial. There is circumstantial evidence of collusion. There is circumstantial evidence, certainly, of collusion or coordination. There's also abundant circumstantial evidence.
All you have right now is a circumstantial case.
I mean, it is funny.
Actually, no, Chuck. I can tell you that the case is more than that. And circumstantial evidence can be very powerful and is hard evidence.
The case is more than that. So he took his position on a committee, knowing that the public knows that he has access. He has accessible to him information that the general public does not know, knowing that he didn't actually see any information. He took that position and he manipulated it and he used it against Donald Trump for years. This report took 2 years that they finally released. And what did it say? There was no evidence that Donald Trump had colluded with Russia. But that did not stop that man for lying about it for 2+ years.
And here's the thing about that. We've said this over and over. Like, what was the effect of the Hunter Biden laptop, like suppressing that information? What was the real effect of that? What's the real effect of him not being held accountable for saying these things? Mm-hmm. He's now a senator. Mm-hmm. I mean, it just shows you how stupid. There was that one picture there, and you got Eric Fartwell and Adam Schiff. I'm like, there was probably a combined IQ of 50 there with those two. I mean, I don't understand how such a beautiful state that I pretty much came from has such idiots running it. It's utterly staggering to me.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Which, by the way, speaking of California, prayers going out to, I read that there was a really big earthquake and now there's like a tsunami that may be impacting, one of the coasts. So wait, Eureka? Where's Eureka?
I don't know. I'm glad you didn't say where's Uranus.
Well, where's Uranus too?
It's a Eureka. I'm not even going there.
Eureka, California. I read is where the earthquake was. So apparently in the Redwood Empire region. Okay. So thoughts and prayers out to everyone affected by that. Certainly your leaders suck, but that sucks also. So, all right, we've got to take a quick break. We'll be back with more, but we want to thank our sponsor, Raycon. So I love my Raycons. I'm going to give you guys the worst part about owning Raycons. Okay. Oh no. Oh, the sponsor's very scared. They're like, oh, why are you talking about the negatives? The worst part about owning Raycons is that every single one of my family members has been stealing my Raycons. So I had to just keep getting more. That's the worst part about it. First, it was my son. Then it was my husband. Then I finally got smart and got the pink ones. So nobody wants to touch those. So now everybody has their own personal Raycons because they're so amazing. So don't go and get like I won't name drop. Don't get the ones from the other competitor, the little earbuds that like they cost an arm and a leg. And they've got the stem. I know you can get the stem with Raycon, but you don't have to. Okay, they've got the big ones that fit over your ears. They've got the ones with the stems. I do the inner ear ones, like those blue and black that you see in the picture. They're awesome. I work out with them. I'm doing burpees, guys. Like
you pretend you're like in the Secret Service
all the time.
You're like,
yeah, okay, all the time. All right, we're moving in. But like they don't come out. They've got these gel tips that are customizable, so you make sure that you find the perfect fit for you. I'm telling you guys, I hate the burpees, but I do them, and my Raycons stay in. Okay. They've also got like 32-hour battery life. I mean, it's just awesome. So go check them out. You're gonna get like half the price as other premium audio brands, and the quality is there. Okay. So make sure you go check them out. Save big for the holidays. Get up to 25% off site-wide at buyraycon.com/Sara Unfiltered. That is 25% off. Stock up for your family members. You can thank me later. buyraycon.com/Sara Unfiltered. Did you see the stuff going on with the UnitedHealthcare CEO?
I did, and I saw the video. Did you see the video?
It's crazy. Okay, so the CEO, UnitedHealthcare, just got like assassinated, picked off by this guy in New York.
Yeah.
The guy just, now we didn't show the actual part where he shot him, but I mean, just comes up, he's got this gun with a silencer on it, and just comes up and just, the police say, clearly a targeted attack.
Oh, yeah.
The guy waited for him. I know there's like surveillance footage of him with his mask off that has been circulating. I find it very strange that nobody has like identified him yet. I feel like it's been enough time and there's enough of his face shown that someone should know who it is.
They probably know.
They're just not saying.
They're just not saying because they'll want to go after him. I mean, what an idiot though that he takes his mask off. I mean,
how stupid.
It's just ridiculous.
So there's obviously some speculation on why he would be targeted. He was a part of some DOJ investigation that he was going to testify on. So there's a lot of facts that still need shaken out of what's going on here. Really crazy situation though. But I want to show you Taylor Lorenz reaction, who, you probably remember. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna remind you who Taylor Lorenz is if you've forgotten. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now I know.
Yeah, you know.
I know.
So she is, of course, the one who doxed libs of TikTok way back in the day. She worked for the Washington Post, all the New York Times, the Daily Beat. I mean, all the awful ones, all of the awful ones. Yeah. And what video do you have, Stephen? Okay, yeah. Let's play that.
A recent NBC investigation found at least 33 instances where you posted about a specific person or institution, and that person or institution was immediately bombarded with death threats and violent threats.
This is her with Chaya. This is her who lives with TikTok on the street. This is.
It's a pretty significant correlation. How do you what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but I got like tons of death threats. The past
there's the shirt
week,
that's the face,
the entire media machine
so great
after me. So are they responsible for those?
I don't think that
she looks like a demented duck.
The same correlation. Are you
look at her with a stupid
threats?
mask that doesn't do anything.
I'm receiving death threats like, hi, I'm gonna come murder you.
Yeah, and I definitely sympathize with you there.
Like
I get those
literally
every day.
The article goes live and then I get those threats.
I get the same thing when a Fox News article goes live.
And then you make that face and cry about it.
Well,
because you say stupid things.
That's why. There's a different responsibility when we're talking about media. And I guess to me, a death threat is different than a violent bomb threat. A death threat, I think we're kind of getting normalized.
So if you violently die from a bomb, it's different.
Bomb threat's kind of different.
You feel differently about it when you die. You're like, I wish that this wouldn't have been a violent bomb death. I wish this would have been a different death for me. That's really something that you care about when you die, I'm sure, Taylor. But it's just fascinating to see her, talk. She cries about death threats. She's very upset about people threatening to kill you, except she tweeted about this and said, and people wonder why we want these people dead, is what she said about the death of UnitedHealthcare's CEO, because she was talking about all of these insurance companies that are removing coverage for things.
Yeah, I mean, this is who they are. I mean, we know this. I think one of the great things about COVID and the lockdowns was that you saw who these people really are. And they haven't gone away. It's just a little bit of a respite while we won the election. They're going to come back. And this is the truth. This is what they want. It's really interesting, though, because on that video, if you guys get to watch it, it's not as disturbing as some things that you would see online that you wouldn't say, well, don't go watch it. But I mean, don't go watch it. But it's not.
I wasn't bothered by it.
No, but what happens is he shoots the gun and then he cycles it because he's got subsonic ammo.
Yep.
Right. So he's clearly trying to make it quieter. So he's got a silencer. By the way, did you know that you cannot have that gun and a silencer in the state of New York?
Gun-free
zone. You can't do it. It's almost as if you make gun laws, criminals don't actually follow them.
But what if you made it super duper more illegaler? Then they
super duper illegal. Like what is this? Is it a school for ants? Like,
It's just so dumb to even think that that's a logical argument. It's like, but what if we just make it illegal? Then the criminals will stop. No,
so stupid.
You could make it the most illegaler thing that ever possibly was illegal, and they would still do it because they're criminals and they don't care about laws. You think a killer is going to be like, oh, I need to find another means of killing this person because guns are illegal in New York City.
But I mean, look, it's really shocking.
Yeah.
I mean, it really, really is shocking that someone would feel like that they are able to do that. It's also shocking that he's such an unprofessional person that he would take his mask off.
I mean, I don't say this taking the death of someone lightly, but I really can't wait to find out more information on who this guy is and what the hell happened and why the CEO
Will we ever
was targeted.
find it out, though?
Will we ever find it out? I don't know. But yeah, so the thing that Taylor Lorenz was responding to, I just looked it up here. It's Blue Cross Blue Shield in Connecticut, New York, and Missouri has declared it will no longer pay for anesthesia for the full length of some surgeries. If the procedure goes over a certain time, anesthesia will not be covered for the duration. And she said, and people wonder why we want these executives dead. That's pretty crazy, Taylor. That's pretty crazy. So did you see about the bullet? That it had deny, depose, and defend on the bullet. Yeah, on the bullet that killed him. And it was similar to, there was a 2010 book that was about insurance companies and when they don't pay claims, that was called Delay, Deny, and Defend. Now, keep in mind that this guy was, of course, involved in this DOJ investigation, testimony, or whatever. So maybe that's why it said depose. It just feels like this shit is going to get really deep. And which, in that case, you and I will probably never hear the full story.
Yeah, we'll never. I mean, if it's going to
go away quietly,
it will just disappear because the 24-hour news cycle. And this is why, we've gone on and on and on about it. Even like the drag queen story hour, it's not gone away. It's still there. It's just that people move on and they try and like swallow it up in the 24-hour news cycle. So it's important if we had decent journalists these days to stay on it.
Yeah.
Like it's like what Steve Baker's doing. This is why he's so great, is that he just continues to follow the story.
Right.
And he doesn't let it go.
Right.
And that is not the case with the majority of journalists, especially if it doesn't fit any of their narratives.
Yep, exactly right. Yeah, this says UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson was facing DOJ probe for insider trading when he was killed. So I don't know. I'm just saying this shit gets really deep. And I really want people to stay on it and keep pressing NYPD and just keep pressing because I just have a slight feeling someone is going to try really hard to make it go away. All right, so let's go ahead and, by the way, if you guys haven't yet, hit the like button. Just hit the like button, okay? Hit the like button, share the show with a friend, post it on your social media, all right? Just do us that favor. You weren't here yesterday.
Mm-mm.
So we got news on trying to remonetize the channel. They said no. They said no.
You gotta be kidding.
No. So I'm telling people, I literally make $0 from YouTube for this whole show. The least you can do. It costs you nothing. Go over to YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed to the show. Please hit the like button. Comment. It will help us in the algorithm. They don't ever want to remonetize me because they don't want you guys to hear the truth. That's the fact of the matter. But if you share the truth will get out.
Could I just say, it really is important because I've had this with my YouTube channel because I've been trying to tell people to go over from X to go over to get to my YouTube channel. It's super important because being on YouTube, you reach people that you wouldn't normally reach. That's why it's really, really important to stay on it. It's a pain in the ass because they demonetize you. My buddy Trevor was demonetized for 2 years and he had several, what happened with him was unbelievable. They kept put him under 30-day review and it was like, this is day 60 of a 30-day review. This is, oh yeah. And this is a decorated military veteran and he didn't do anything that you could really see as being controversial. Now he's been remonetized again. But it's really important because it might be just that one person that's clicking through and they come across your material and it resonates with them. So it's very, very important that people do like, subscribe, and share the channels.
Yeah. So go do that. By the way, go over to Apple Podcasts too. And go rate the show there too. And give us 5 stars because we deserve no less. And also give us a fun review and we may read it. I want the producer to listen to me in the control room. Start pulling some of the reviews that are really cute and fun or flattering or funny or, you know what? Pull some hateful ones too. I want to read those too. Okay? Just pull them and we're going to start reading them towards the end of the show. And you might see your review read on Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. So make sure to go do that. And we will be right back. So the jury in the Daniel Penny case is still deliberating. They've been deliberating for several days now. And it's every day that goes by that they're still deliberating, I get more and more worried that it's like, how could we possibly still be deliberating this? There was so much out there that they went through, that the defense went through to prove that this man should not even be on trial.
He shouldn't.
And if the evidence wasn't just massively overwhelming, that this is just the fact that he's there is just a grave injustice to begin with, you have the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, who came out and was like basically defending Daniel Penny's position entirely. Watch.
Now, we're on the subway where we're hearing someone talking about hurting people, killing people. You have someone on that subway who was responding, doing what we should have done as a city and a state of having a mental health facility. Those passengers were afraid. I'm hoping that the jury will hear all the facts. Based on all the facts that's laid out, a jury of his peers would make the right decision. And I don't want to prejudge that. I'm just looking at all the facts that are involved here and what we did to get to where we are and what we're seeing. Because that could have easily been a case where you saw 3 innocent people murdered on our street 2 weeks ago.
Why is this man still there? Why has he been in prison? Why has he had to go through this? It's like, I guess the mayor can't do anything. His hands are tied, but it's like, this is just all so silly to be doing. I thought we learned our lesson during my friend Kyle Rittenhouse's trial.
Yeah, but they built this, didn't they?
They sure did.
This
That's
is
a
the
great
problem.
point.
They built this and they're trying to put the genie back in the bottle and it doesn't go back like that. When you keep telling everyone that everything's all about race, when a crazy person is threatening to harm someone and you've got an American hero, a Marine like that comes in and takes him down, and then all of a sudden now it's like, if you just cast your mind back to the way it was back then, with if you did anything, if you were a white guy, a white cop, anyone that, even if you were, by the way, Hispanic, they would call you white, right? Against a black guy, that was it. Right. It was a hate crime.
Right.
It didn't matter. The circumstances didn't matter. It was just if you had a different, especially if you were white, but if you had a different skin color to the other person, then it was a hate crime. Yep. Not if it went the other way. Of course.
Right. Sure. No.
Right. It doesn't work the other way. But. And so these guys did this. They built it. And this is a massive, massive miscarriage of justice. And what it did, this was all about stopping people sticking up for themselves. That's what it was. It was about stopping defending yourself, stopping coming out. It's the same thing with what they've done in the UK right now with memes and all this, and they're going after people. It's basically to say, shut your mouth, sit down, know your place. Right. And this has gone on. It's happened over and over and over again. Yeah. And it has to turn back. Otherwise, I mean, this is what we were worried about, right? If the cackler in chief got in, is that there'd be chaos. They'd stop you from being able to defend yourself. You wouldn't have the means to defend yourself, right? Now, the fact is this guy is a Marine, is a lethal weapon, right? But so these are the things he dealt with. But you can't carry a gun on the subway. Right. In New York. They've taken that ability away from you.
And that's the point, isn't it? Of course, when you need help, you can't always just go, oh, look, there's a cop. Please come help me. You're stuck on the subway with someone. What the hell do you do? Even Democrat Mayor Eric Adams, who's seemingly more and more a little bit like inching towards, I don't know, like he's talking about helping with mass deportations. He's talking about meeting with Tom Homan. Like I think he is finally realizing what we have been doing is not working. And my streets are not safe anymore. And I need to do something about that.
Well, what I think about him is he was a cop, right? Like he was a cop. So he knows the score, right? He just does.
Yeah.
But like all these Democrats and like the majority of politicians out there is they say and do what they need to say and do to be elected. It's just about power. It's very rarely about standing on principle and on morals. I'm not shocked actually that he said this because that's what cops want. They want, because the amount of times that cops are in altercations and they're like, I need help. Right. They want guys to come in. They're saying it, right? That they need people to come and get involved. And we know that's why in Texas you have a carry. You can carry. What is it? A constitutional carry.
Yep.
So we can defend ourselves all the time. Guess what?
Open carry.
That shit doesn't happen in Texas.
Oh, no. Well, when it does, it gets shut down real freaking quick. Because there's always someone. If you don't have a gun, the person next to you has a gun.
You'll get pumped full of holes.
Yeah.
And so, it's like, say, an armed society is a polite society, but they keep doing this. They keep edging towards it and it's happening in the UK as well. But in these democratic cities, this is what is happening. They're stopping the police from doing their job, right? Because they're saying you can't do X, Y, Z. Right, they're defunding them, so there's less of them out there. Then they're saying to the general public, you can't arm yourself, and even if you have the facility and the ability to defend yourself, you're going to get prosecuted for it.
Right.
Like, what is going on? So that just stops people from stepping up. And by the way, people say all the time, well, what? There's a guy there. Why doesn't he do something? This is why.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Well, I've said this a million times. I've had this conversation with Stephen. And I mean, I've been like, if you are ever in a position where that's happening and you feel like you want to be the hero for a bunch of strangers, don't do it. I understand that as a man, it's your instinct, but don't do it, because who's more important, a group of strangers or your family? Because then they're going to put you in jail and then you can't come home to your family.
Well, unfortunately, this is the thing, is that the justice system doesn't stand by you. I mean, like I said, I remember when Kyle got acquitted, and I was actually just coming out there. I told you, so I was just coming out from having I think it was a colonoscopy, and I was a little bit loopy because I had like general anesthetic, and I remember like this was a real moment that they had to let him off, and if they didn't, then I was just like, the country's gone. There's no justice in this. He didn't do anything wrong. And it's exactly the same with Daniel Penny. I'm hoping that they don't convict him. I think they will.
Well, Donald Trump could pardon him.
And then I think Donald Trump will pardon him.
Yeah. I hope so.
But
I hope they don't convict him. But
I hope they don't. Well, it's a bad thing for the country if they do. But you know what? It's friggin' New York. Look at what they did to Donald Trump. It's same thing with California. At this point, I'm like, you guys have at it. Have your chaos in the streets. We'll build the wall, brumph, on either seaboard as well.
I also just to kind of add to that before I know we got to go to break here, but just to add to that, you have them doing all of this to Donald Trump, who's, of course, that was bogus. He did nothing wrong. You have them wasting taxpayer resources trying to punish Daniel Penny for, of course, being a hero on the subway. Meanwhile, you have this same prosecutor, okay? Lead Daniel Penny prosecutor secured light sentence for thug who killed 87-year-old in an ATM robbery and pushed for restorative justice. Why? Because the guy was black.
I was going to say, can we see a picture?
Yeah.
I hate to say it, like,
the guy was black.
This is the way it is now.
So you can go up. I'm reading this. Matthew Lee, 57, snuck up on the victim, a former Lehman College professor from a Citibank ATM on Broadway. The fatal blow, a punch to the head from behind, blah, blah, blah. So he snuck up on him. He robs him. He's a mugger. And she seeks a light sentence for him. But Daniel Penny, a white guy on the subway who's trying to save a bunch of people, who some of whom are black, by the way, and testified.
Yeah, they were there.
I know. And they were like, he didn't do anything wrong. He saved us. Okay. That guy she wants to throw in prison.
And by the way, did you notice, I hate to say it, but what was the race of the person that was attacked there?
Asian.
Asian.
Yeah, they don't care about that.
This is it's the weird thing. It's the strangest thing. It's the same thing with affirmative action. Like, the fact that they have been discriminatory to Asians in Harvard and all these other places, there's been a massive amount of black on Asian crime, right? Assaults. We've seen it, like little old women walking down the streets, wallop, and they've been hitting them. I don't know why that is. I don't know what is going on in the community that is happening. But all of a sudden, like, this is minorities fighting, well, not even fighting one another, but it's one minority attacking another minority, and all of a sudden, it doesn't matter that you're that minority. Like, that doesn't matter.
No. It actually, it matters only if you're black, and it matters so that we can give you a reduced sentence. That's why it matters. So that you get restorative justice. Did the Asian male who died, did the 87-year-old who died get restorative justice? No. But we got to give the black criminal restorative justice.
But this is what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense,
I know.
Right? Because it's selective, and why one particular group and not the other? It's just so wrong.
I know. It's so messed up. All right, we got to take another quick break. I can't wait to get into this next story. We'll be right back. You're gonna love this, Matt. There's a new audit that showed that only 6% of federal employees work from an office full time, and some aren't working at all. So, isn't that great? Isn't that great? Now, by the way, Elon Musk, we talked about this off air. Elon Musk tweeted out that it's actually, when they looked at it, it's actually more like 1% when you factor out like the obvious security guards, lawnmowers,
cleaners,
like people who literally have to be on site to do their job. And so now DOGE to the rescue, hopefully.
Oh, yes.
There's a new DOGE caucus that is being formed, and there is a new DOGE-related bill that is called the Remote Act that's going to use software to monitor bureaucrats' computer use and require agency reports on the adverse impacts of telework. Now, I will just say, I much prefer the idea that you just tell them, get the hell to work.
Yeah.
Like, it drove me nuts, and I don't care who I piss off right now. It drove me, even here, in this freaking, I'm like, it's been 2 years, guys. Get the hell back to work. You signed up to do a job. Your job is at work. If you don't like it, go find another job. But your job is here at work. Like, it's really that simple.
I mean, all the studies and everything say that you're more productive.
People.
It's true. They say you're more productive, but the truth is...
You're not more productive at home. You cannot convince me of that.
No, I'm saying you're more productive,
you're more productive at work.
in the office.
Of course you are.
You have to be.
There's a certain level of accountability that you have that you don't have at home. Of course you are.
Well, look, the other thing is if you have a home gym, it's the same thing like a home gym, right? It's,
I have a home gym. I do. I have an online coach.
Oh, my goodness. Look at you.
He can't see me, though. He can't see. So I curse at him a lot.
Is he British?
He's not British. I curse at him a lot.
She absolutely does. That's not a lie.
I do. I'm like, I hate you, Coach Brian. Ugh!
It is that loud, too.
Steve's there, like, eating his nachos, like, what are you talking about?
He's watching me.
I've only heard it once. It's hysterical.
No, but I mean...
But, to your point,
I'm going to name drop. Are you ready?
Uh-oh. Go.
When I worked with Stallone, he told me, he did. He told me, he goes, I go to a gym. And he did. Yeah. He went to a gym.
Yeah.
Because it sets you up. You have a mindset. You go there. Now, look, I mean, I do cardio at home. I got a Peloton. I love it. I know it's a cult, but like, I love the Peloton. But to lift weights, I have to go to the gym. Like, I need to be around more people, get the motivation to.
And bonus points if you have a personal trainer who, of course, is going to hold you more accountable, because that's just accountability, which is the whole point. You can't be working from home, especially if my tax dollars are going to fund your salary. No, absolutely not. And so, of course, you would, I mean, of course, this is what Joe Biden's doing. Joe Biden's administration is working to secure remote work for certain federal union workers until 2029.
Or as we like to say, the deep state.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And you know what? The president should go, F it, you're all gone anyway. Because listen, the funny thing is if he says that, if Biden says, I want to save these people, you can be sure they're the people that you want to fire.
Yep, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I don't need you. I don't need a union negotiating these terms. No, you get the hell back to work. And if you're not at work, you're fired. You must not want your job. Donald Trump is really good at saying you're fired. I've heard him say it 1,000,000 times. I just need to hear him say, go.
You're fired.
I love that there's like a warm up that you
it's
have
a dramatic pause. Like, you got to give it. Look, this is the acting, right? You got to. You're fired. You just got to give it a little bit.
He just has to breathe a little bit.
You know what they should do? They should like tape him saying it.
just play it for everyone.
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. That's going to be the next viral video.
Injected into my veins.
Yeah.
I wish I could be a fly on the wall there. All right. Thanks, Matt.
You got it.